Good afternoon, Acadiana. We apologize for interrupting your Inauguration Day coverage, but we're taking you now to a press conference where Mayor President Monique Boulet is giving us some more tips and things to remember before that snow starts falling early tomorrow morning. So let's head to that press conference now.
All right. That looks like a nice warm southern jacket. Oh, nice. Yes. Okay, good. So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here. On Wednesday of last week, we began monitoring the winter storm and quickly began reaching out to stakeholders, working with public works teams to ensure de-icing equipment is prepped and public facilities are winterized for extreme temperatures. Saturday afternoon, Governor Jeff Landry declared a statewide state of emergency. I followed by declaring a state of emergency for Lafayette Parish. Governor Landry and I spoke by phone yesterday. He called from D.C. to stress the importance of getting everyone off the streets. He was very clear that this is going to be a weather event unlike anything we've experienced. And I would add, you know, we are prepared for hurricanes. We have all the equipment we need. We know what we need. We know how to react. This is going to be different. We don't necessarily have snow equipment on hand to deal with what we have coming. So I just want everybody to be particularly aware of that and also know he is watching very closely. And I'm also very concerned that we get people to stay home and off of the roads. Per today's noon briefing with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles, meteorologist Doug Kramer outlined several things. One was this was a historical event. Same thing I just said. Same thing iterated by the governor. It's okay. It will be a daytime event with primary impacts beginning tomorrow morning, going through Wednesday and possibly Thursday. We are expecting the bulk of the snowfall between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. tomorrow. We could get 4 to 6 inches. It's very likely, but I will say they are expecting windy conditions, which can blow the snow into higher stacks. So it can get very deep, and that is something we are not accustomed to. We are expecting widespread accumulation on roads based on snowfall rates in conjunction with air and roadway temperatures. There will be a significant impact on pipes. Roughly 48 to 60 hours of consecutive time frame with temperatures below freezing. I want to iterate this. We always ask that you do not drip your pipes. We are already seeing impacts in 3 of our systems, Youngsville, Broussard, and Milton. Those systems are already seeing low pressures. I know plumbers ask or tell people to drip your pipes. It does work, but if we have to shut the whole system down, it won't matter. So we're asking you not to drip your pipes. Sorry. And then we will likely see single-digit temperatures as we approach Wednesday morning, so it will be very cold. I began this morning by attending a commemorative program in honor of Martin Luther King at the MLK Recreation Center. We also honor and recognize the official inauguration celebration going on today of President Donald J. Trump as the 47th President of the United States. While we celebrate these momentous occasions, I do want to reiterate we are in a state of emergency and are looking at all city and parish service operations and direct impacts. We've been in active conversations with AWS, our trash service, as they resumed collections today to minimize disruption to our residents. They will not be providing service tomorrow, and the rest of the week is going to be a day-by-day decision. We did run trash today because of trying to remove as much trash out of the system as possible today before we get into this extreme weather situation. City parish offices will be closed Tuesday and Wednesday. Our emergency personnel are fully dedicated to responding to the needs of our community during this weather event. Your safety is our top priority. Public safety officials are closely monitoring roadways and bridges. We will be closing streets as they are deemed unsafe and impassable. We strongly urge everyone to stock up on food and supplies today, limiting travel tomorrow and Wednesday only to emergency and essential trips. For real-time updates on road closures, please visit our website, LafayetteLA.gov/road closures with an S. If you encounter a roadway hazard or need to report downed power lines or water or wastewater issues, please report by calling 311. We have consolidated all of the different phone numbers that we typically have into the 311 system to simplify for people. Last night at 6 p.m., we opened the Dupree Recreation Center at Brown Park, located at 1212 East Pont de Mouton Road, as a warming shelter. This facility is open to individuals who are unhoused or anyone lacking adequate heat during the cold weather. Thanks to the Lafayette Parish Animal Shelter and Control Center, we are also equipped to accommodate pets as needed. The shelter will remain open through Thursday with exact closure plans depending on the weather forecast. I want to thank the Lafayette Police Department and the Lafayette City Marshal's Office Park Police Division for providing security and ensuring this shelter remains safe and welcoming space for all those in need. I want to extend an extra thank you to ARCH, the Acadiana Regional Coalition for Homelessness, to Catholic Charities, and to Second Harvest Food Bank. We could not do what we do at this shelter without you and your volunteers. As of now, the shelter has bedding, food, and hygiene supplies for those in need and will continue to do so for anyone who stays with us. For those who wish to help, donations can be made to ARCH. It's the ARCH Share House located at 211A Gilboa Road in Lafayette. Transportation is available to the shelter via Lafayette Transit, and transportation fees have been suspended to ensure everyone can access this critical resource. We have a dedicated bus running from St. Joseph Steiner, 405 St. John Street. In the event you are not located in close proximity to this location and need transportation, please call 211, and we will dispatch a bus accordingly. We will do this as long as we can. Once the roads ice over, emergency transportation will be. We will do what we can do. Let me say that. So we really want people to prepare in advance. Our primary focus is ensuring the safety and well-being of every resident across Lafayette Parish. As we all hunker down in preparation for the continuation of extremely low temperatures, I want to advise anyone tuning in, remember the 5 Ps of cold weather safety: people, pets, pipes, plants, and we want to practice fire safety. Stay warm. We need all people to stay indoors. Remember to check on families and neighbors who may need assistance. Stock up today and plan to be home for at least the next 2 days. Pets should be inside during extreme temperatures. Please provide adequate shelter indoors for your pets' protections. They will not survive with these temperatures. Pipes, if you haven't done so already, wrap exposed pipes with insulation and drain and disconnect any outside water hoses. Remember that a slight water drip may impact water pressure and limit our ability to respond to emergencies. Again, we are already seeing a significant drop in pressure in certain areas of the parish. We really want to keep water on as long as we possibly can. So I ask everybody, even if your plumber says it's okay to do it, you're impacting the entire system. And we could eventually have to shut down parts of the parish that we really don't want to do. Plants. Cover your plants with sheets and towels to keep warm. Bring potted plants indoors. Practice fire safety. This is the time of year we see more fires, and we've seen some lately. I think everybody here in the news has been reporting on fires. Please be conscious of your heating source and be careful. Do not use fuel burning devices inside, and in the event you use a generator, do so in a well-ventilated outdoor area. We need to reduce the number of fires we typically deal with in a cold weather event. Please be safe. We are committed to keeping you informed with accurate and timely updates, and will continue to work with the Lafayette Parish Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, OSEP. to protect the lives and property of people in Lafayette Parish. Please follow our LCG Facebook page, as well as local broadcast stations for the latest information on efforts across our parish. I want to thank all of our LCG departments, first responders throughout the parish, Acadiana VOAD agencies and their volunteers, and all those who have been working around the clock for proactive preparations to keep us all safe. A special thank you to our newly formed Lafayette Parish Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness Team, Chad Saunier, Jennifer Landry, and my Chief of Staff, Christine Davies. They have been on the ground preparing for this event for the last 6 days. This level of coordination is critical in this type of event. Many of our partnering agencies have reached out in gratitude for the preparation and professionalism. Thank you. We all have a couple of long days in front of us. I appreciate your dedication to protect and to serve our citizens. Lastly, I want to clarify, for our emergencies, dial 911. If you have an outage or something to report, a tree limb is down, power lines are down, call 311. And if you need transportation or a community resource, call 211. And in closing, I ask for your cooperation, your patience, and your support for one another. Let us stay informed and take every precaution to protect ourselves and our loved ones. On a lighter note, I want to challenge Lafayette to see how creative we can get with snowmen. I know there's a lot of contests going on, so go out there and build a really fun snowman, and please stay safe. With that, we have several representatives here that will make comments. First, Lafayette Parish Sheriff Mark Garber.
Thank you, Mayor President. So what we're looking at right now, I think everybody's pretty familiar with the weather situation. Tuesday, at some point in the afternoon, roads are expected to become difficult to impassable. So plan accordingly. The Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office is equipped with tire chains on our patrol units. We have military vehicles and other four-wheel drive vehicles, but we will not be able to respond with our normal speed. Everyone should have already prepared by now with your fuel, medicines, food and water, and so forth. But in the event that travel becomes unavoidable and you're on an icy road, reduce your travel speed. Conditions will tend to decline more quickly on bridges and overpasses, and this should be obvious to everyone, but nonetheless it bears mentioning. Increase your following distance behind other vehicles when you're on the road. Avoid using cruise control and brake slowly and gently if you must put on your brakes. Think ahead, leave plenty of space, give yourself extra time to get somewhere. Remember that the road conditions are not going to be what you're used to. Barricades may be placed due to dangerous conditions such as icy buildup on bridges or roadways. If there's a barricade that has been placed, do not go around it. My deputies will be courteous and professional, but they will enforce the barricades. If we have a loss of power and you see a down power line, assume that it's live and please report it either through 911 or 311. We will come and put up barricades and we'll try to keep the public away from it. There's no curfews as of right now. I know that's a question that I've been getting a lot of calls and texts about. My philosophy on the curfews is that they should not be imposed unless there's an overriding public safety reason, but we're trusting the public to heed our warnings about conditions. Last thing I'm going to say is that our response time will be extended. The safety of the first responders is also paramount, and we can't be there for you as a first responder if we're in trouble ourselves. So I'm going to keep that in mind and have deputies stand by until conditions are passable and or using our specialized vehicles to get to you if you need help. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Truart. I'm the Interim Chief of Police of Lafayette. Just to piggyback on a few things that the sheriff said, within the city, we ask that you stay off of roadways. Our services will be running as usual. We've brought on 2 additional squads just to monitor the ice on the bridges and roadways. Travel will get difficult around the city, mostly at nighttime when we start shutting down bridges. You're going to have an issue getting from one side of Vermilion River to the other side of Vermilion River, probably with the only access being on the Evangeline Thruway. So be aware of that. They will remain closed with patrol units monitoring that the entire time. We will keep up a real-time road closure on the LCG website. That's openings and closures. You can get to that on the website. We will provide security at the warming centers until this event is over with. And if you need something from emergency services, please go directly to 911. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Fire Chief Robert Benoit, Lafayette Fire Department. Just to reiterate what the mayor talked about in public safety and fire safety specifically, we want you to make sure that if you're going to use generators, make sure that those combustible generators are outside of your home in a well-ventilated area. We want you to make sure that any combustible or flammable liquids are also stored outside. We don't want you storing that inside of your home. We know that it's going to be cold and we know that you want to be warm. So in using your fireplaces, look at your surroundings. Make sure that while you're standing in front of that fireplace or you burning logs in it, that you don't have any combustible material like clothing or bedding or anything in the area that can catch fire. The other thing is that some of you will be using your stoves and your ovens to warm your home. We discourage that, but we know that it's cold and we know that you have to be warm. If you're going to use those appliances, make sure that you have a crack in your windows so that you can have a fresh supply of air coming into the home, so that you don't have any issues with carbon monoxide poisoning. The other thing is that we want you to make sure that you understand is that space heaters, electric space heaters, a lot of times where you want to put them at, you don't have a receptacle. So you get an extension cord and then you extend it. Extension cords are not for long-term use. Using an extension cord on a space heater will cause that extension cord to warm up and get hot. And if you fall asleep while it's hot, you may have a fire. So we just want you to take those things into consideration, be proactive, use good common sense. If you smell something that's not right, give us a call. We're trying not to respond if we don't have to, but we're going to come see about you. But we don't want you to go to sleep at night and something's going on in your home, and the next thing you know, you have a fire. So I think if you apply that process, you should be okay during the time that we get through this storm. Thank you.
Excuse me. I'm Warren Abity, the Public Works Director. Public Works crews began pre-treating bridges today because we expect them to ice first. But there's no doubt that sometime mid-morning tomorrow that there will be significant impacts to the transportation system. And we are asking people to stay off the roads unless it's an absolute emergency. We will have crews and equipment standing by to support emergency services to make sure that they can respond to any calls they get. To reiterate what the mayor said earlier, the normal transit operation will not run tomorrow and Wednesday. We will continue to run the shelter operation. We have a route that runs from St. Joseph's Diner to the shelter, to the warming shelter today. And if anybody who needs a ride, if they dial 211, we will dispatch a transit vehicle to get them. We are asking that if somebody needs to get to the shelter, that they do that today, as we will have to play the ability to run transit tomorrow by ear because we're expecting significant impacts to the transportation system. With regards to trash, the trash service did run today in anticipation of the weather. They will not run tomorrow, and then future days will be on a day-by-day basis. Thank you.
Jeffrey Stewart, LUS Director. I want to emphasize a point the Mayor President made earlier about the water systems. We are seeing drops in water pressure across the Lafayette system, which means people are dripping their faucets, they are running their faucets, and we advise strongly against that practice. Even though it might preserve the pipes, it's a method of preserving the pipes, it is drawing down the pressures on the system, and that's going to impact public health and public safety. One of our goals is to make sure that emergency care facilities have adequate water supply and pressure, but also the fire departments around the parish have adequate water supply for fire protection as well. Impacts to the water system can have a negative impact on those services, and so we're pleading with everyone across the parish, do not drip faucets, insulate the pipes, evacuate the water from the pipes, make sure that you open your cabinets that for any exposed pipes in your homes to let the room temperature warm it. But we ask this because we do not want to see parts of the water system around the parish collapse, and we don't have any water supply or any water pressure. So with that, the rest of the utility system is fully staffed. We're bringing in extra crews and extra personnel to handle the storm tomorrow and Wednesday. We will respond to any calls. It may take us a little bit longer to get there. So please be patient with us as we get to you. We will respond, and we do want to make sure that services are restored. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will take questions now. Yes. So it puts everything in a situation. It makes our decision making ability stronger. Basically, it puts everybody on alert. I'm sorry. Oh, yes. So I was asked the implications of the local state of emergency. It puts all of our departments on alert and gives us, I guess, a broader decision making in dealing with emergency. It also prioritizes the emergency over regular operations. Yes. Right. I'm going to let Jeff take that one.
The question was renters are being advised to drip pipes in by their landlords. I would ask those renters to insulate their pipes where they can. Go to the local, home renovation hardware stores, find insulation, find a way to do it. And what I find is that even though somebody might be dripping their faucets, and they may have adequate pressures, somebody down the line is starting to lose pressure. And, we're mindful of the entire system. And I know that, a lot of our, direct customers are renters. They don't own that property, and they may not feel empowered. I would say empower them, because if they don't, we see collapses on the system, and their home or their neighbor's home is, let's say there's a fire. We may not have the ability to completely fight that fire like we want to. And so I would tell those renters, feel empowered, do it on your own. And if the landlord has an issue, I'll give them my cell phone number and they can call me, because I want to make sure that public health and public safety are a priority. And I feel like a property owner should take that advice.
Yes. Right. So we don't expect extreme weather conditions until 6 a.m. in the morning, but I may let the sheriff answer that after this evening.
So like I mentioned earlier, right now there's no curfew, there's no prohibition. My thoughts on that are we give the warnings to the public, let people make their own decisions. It's common sense, though. We're going to have snowfall tomorrow, starting in the morning, all day long. Snow's fine to drive on, more or less. You can maintain good traction with a modern automobile. It's not a problem. What's going to happen over the course of the day is that the snow in the roadway is going to melt. A certain amount of that's going to stay in the roadway. Then the temperatures are going to drop after dark. That's going to create black ice or ice, whatever you want to call it, on the roadways. So it's a common sense type evolution of conditions that we will get to a point where it is extremely hazardous to drive. I think that the employers need to really think about the pros and cons of what they're asking their employees to do, and that everybody makes their own decision. It's going to get a little bit dicey as we get into, I think, tomorrow night, for sure, because of the reasons I mentioned.
I will add the black ice issue that he spoke about. If you think about the number of trees we have on our roadways, that underneath those trees, that area will not defrost as fast as the rest of the street. So you may feel safe on a street and not necessarily see that patch of ice you're about to hit because it's underneath a tree. So the black ice issue is going to be real for us. We're not accustomed to driving with ice patches on our roadway, and it is something we need to be very serious about. Again, we're not talking about curfews today. If we see a public need for it that's greater than what we're expecting, that is subject to change. But as of right now, I want to reiterate what the sheriff said, is that we're asking employers to be just as responsible as we're asking the citizens. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, and stay warm.